Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortune Tellers Wrestling Show. This is our weekly Raw and Smackdown review, and it's also the go home shows for Money in the Bank this Sunday. And with me, we actually do have our founder, co-founder. What are we, co-founders together, or?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we decided to make this podcast together, and you decided to put it on your back. So
I just decided to keep going. I missed one
yeah,
episode.
right.
Mm.
You did? Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a few weeks, 3 or
Yeah, it
4,
was two weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And yeah,
Yeah,
this
it's me. It's Shuffles. If in case you forgot who I was.
yeah, and and we should probably explain, even though I think I've explained it before on the show, but you cut cable, so you don't even watch the shows.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, circumstances dictated that I needed to cut cable. So unfortunately, I can't watch the shows. At most, I can watch the highlights and listen to other podcasts. But really, the only thing that I've really watched is Firefly and Funhouse because it's the only thing that's worth watching on this damn show. But if you want to go over the stuff, I'll give you my reactions to it, and what
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
would we also like to make a little bit of a prediction for Money in the Bank too.
Absolutely, we'll give our predictions about the current, I should say, because it is Thursday. We don't normally do shows anymore. We used to do them on Wednesday, but we don't do shows this early, I guess you could say.
Yeah, usually it's a Saturday or Sunday thing, but
So the card is subject to change, of course, which actually it has before. We've given predictions and then the matches change like the day of,
yeah. Also, I mean, they've already changed one part of one of the matches anyway, so.
Yeah, that happened. Luckily, that happened before we did the show. So
yes.
But also before we do that, literally like right before we got on to do this show, Ashley died. Ashley Massaro.
Yeah, Ashley Massaro, former WWE diva.
Yeah,
she won what, the second Diva search?
I think so. It was either the second or the third. But
yeah, sad too. She's only 39. She has a daughter.
We don't know how she died. We don't know how she died yet. It's unknown. And just like she was just like what's the word? She was just active on Twitter like yesterday, responding to fan mail and stuff.
Yeah, she said she was going to be sending out fan mail and stuff, and then unfortunately, she passed away, and my thoughts and prayers out to her daughter and the rest of her family, and I hope everyone's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's I mean, 39 is pretty young. I don't want to get into like theories about how she died because there's a time and a place. So
exactly. And the thing is that we could theorize, especially in the wrestling industry, like what happened. But I think it's very, very bad taste to assume something. Like obviously we all think it's something, and like we all have our own little especially in the wrestling world, we're like, oh, this is definitely what the problem is, and this is why somebody died in wrestling, but we don't know. So
yeah,
we can't, in good faith, we cannot speculate because that's not fair to Ashley's family. It's not fair to Ashley. Exactly, not fair to put any rumors out there that may or may not be true.
Right, and it also apparently she was coming back, right? Like she was trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, apparently
I think she currently was
trying to come back to wrestling. I don't know if it was specifically WWE, probably not, but like she was trying to come back to wrestling. So
yeah, I think I read a quote where she was like, she wanted to be doing something with WWE like soon again. Like if she just wanted to be invited to anything in any capacity because she wanted to do something. But it's kind of a shame that never happened. But
now the question: do you think they mentioned her at all?
Oh sure, like on Raw, like the opening vignette. Sure, they did it on the Twitter account for WWE, announced her passing and stuff. And yeah, I think they should. It's just like when anybody else dies, So
rest in peace, and we'll move on to Raw now.
Yeah, we'll move on to the state of wrestling, and we got some news and shit. And first of all, you even when you had TV, you didn't watch Raw and SmackDown.
Not a lot.
I mean,
not a lot. I mean, I used to like watch the first hour as like I used to like watch Raw more than I watch SmackDown, which is funny because like SmackDown's usually the better show.
Yeah. And how do you feel about not watching? Do you feel like healthier? Do you feel?
I feel honestly like I feel left out, but I also, from what I get from you, I feel like I'm like not like if it was something good and I was missing something good, like I'd be like, okay, oh well, that's sad. I can't believe I'm missing this. But like, and I'm sure you're going to get into this a little bit later. The wild card rule has just turned me completely off. I mean, obviously, I haven't been on since the wild card rule to kind of give my thoughts about it. But
When's the last time you were like officially on? It's been a while.
WrestleMania show.
That's true. I think it was the WrestleMania show. That was
and we thought it was going to be like 6 hours, and it turned out being one of our shortest shows, I think.
No, it was about 3 hours long.
It wasn't too bad though.
Which is pretty good for like reviewing 12 hours of content, because it wasn't just WrestleMania. It was the Raw and SmackDown afterwards.
Yes.
So it was like 12 hours.
Yeah. So this is my thought on the wild card rule. I hate it.
Okay.
I just hate it. It absolutely just kills the brand split. Not only that, and because I mean, like, obviously I've been keeping up vicariously through you. You've been kind of letting me know what's been going on Raw and SmackDown. I always make fun of you because I'm always like, oh yeah, I got a novel to read, but it actually really does a good job of keeping me informed of what's going on in the shows.
You know what's funny? My like erratic and what's the word I'm looking for? My random ass like angry thoughts about the show does a better job keeping you like in track of what's going on than the actual show.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I could look through WWE's freaking Twitter and I wouldn't get any fucking information, but I literally just open up my DMs and I see beat by beat exactly what happened, and then your reactions to it as well. So.
I didn't do it. To be fair though, this week I didn't do such a good job as I usually do with like texting you all the results and whatnot, because I missed stuff here and there. Just because I was just like, fuck this, I can't be bothered to text that. Also, sometimes I think I'm probably pissing you off with how much I'm like texting you during it.
No, it's not really pissing me off because I mean, like, honestly, like, but when you're texting me, I'm not at work at that time. Yeah. So like, it's not even that big of a deal. I don't mind it. But no. So here's what I'm going to say about the before we get too long long-winded about the wild card rule. Here's what I'm going to say. I can understand the wild card rule if and only if they didn't just use it as a vehicle to put the same 5 and 6 people in the fucking like on the show.
Right.
Because if it's literally just a vehicle to put Roman Reigns on the Raw. Yeah. And that's pretty much it, right? I mean, like,
well, the thing is that what I read was, I guess this was per Big Dave Meltzer, Big Dick Dave,
Big Dick Dave,
Big Dick Meltzer. Yeah, I guess it might have been someone else.
I prefer Big Dick Nick.
Yeah, exactly. But from what I read, though, NBC was not happy with Roman leaving Raw for SmackDown. And I said this when it happened. Like, if they're actually so stupid to think, if NBC is stupid enough to believe that Roman equals ratings for Raw and shit, then they're stupid, because obviously that's not true. You know what I mean? It's nothing against Roman. It's not a knock against Roman. It's a knock against, he's been pushed at the top for 4 straight years, and the ratings didn't help.
I mean, and I understand. I understand this is definitely NBC doing this, but like, if if it's like, if I'm WWE and I'm like, okay, I'll put Roman on that show, but they're making it all about Roman too, which is kind of like, because it's like, now, like, what was their like hard, like what was bad for them was shoving Roman down everybody's throat. And then, I mean, I hate to say they got lucky with Roman getting like leukemia, but like, I'm that's the bad way of me saying it, but like
semantics. It's just,
I
get what you're saying.
Like, Yeah, they kind of got lucky in the terms of like they kind of got a clean slate with him.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And they kind of just ruined it because, and I understand it's like if it's NBC who's like clamoring for Roman Reigns, there's not really much you can do, But I don't know why NBC, like, why couldn't they offer like, I mean, I understand John Cena is like a part timer, but I think if you ask John Cena to like do 4 or 5 months at a time, like just like 4 or 5 months, and then he'll go away for a while, I think he'd do it,
Yeah, but would that really help ratings? Because I'm honestly at a point where I don't think anything can help. I think one person that I can think of in my mind that would actually draw people to the show to get like a big number is CM Punk. But they're not going to get CM Punk. The one guy I think would be, like, I don't know. I just think like NBC kind of put Vince over a barrel on this one, so he thought that the wild card rule was the good idea to like, try to please both parties and get Roman on both shows, right?
I think and I'm gonna kind of go on a tangent right here, and I think this is the last thing we should say about the wild card rule in general, unless we get to specific things. I think they could have booked it a lot better. They could have booked it, instead of just doing this wild card rule, which I don't like because it's really kind of gumming up. Like, it's the same people on both shows, and then it's like the same people on both shows, and it's not like you're not getting those exclusive people, like especially on SmackDown, because there's only 2 hours on SmackDown, so you're dedicating a lot of the time to Roman Reigns, who should be a SmackDown superstar, and you're dedicating like time to like Elias, or I mean I don't even remember if Elias is on SmackDown or not, but
no, Elias is on SmackDown.
He is, okay.
Well, but to be fair to you though, with this shit going on and the superstar shakeup being really weird, even before the wild card rule came into play, the superstar shakeup was confusing everybody. So it's people. Some people are still like confused as to who's on what show. So yeah. Elias is on SmackDown. Roman is on SmackDown. Although I sometimes think he's still on Raw just because how long he was on the show.
Yeah. Well, and so this is like, I think they could have storyline wrote in something about Roman Reigns that could warrant him being on both shows. Now, I don't know what that could be. Like maybe you have the two, like, is it Stephanie and Shane battling because they both want Roman so bad, or there's something I feel like they could have done to please NBC, but not completely gum up the entire show with unnecessary people just so they can have Roman Reigns on both shows.
Yeah, there's I can't. There's a lot of problems, honestly, with the wild card rule. Like a lot more than you would think, dude. Trust me. We'll get into it though. We'll go over specifically what's wrong with stuff, and let's just start reviewing, and we'll get your thoughts on everything, and I'll try to. And this show was these two shows were taped. They were in London, so I think I got spoiled on one.
You got spoiled on the Asuka and Kyrie thing.
Yeah, I think that was it though. I think that's odd because I remember when AJ Styles beat Jinder in England for the WWE title, and it was like taped. So, and I got spoiled for that because I forgot that the show was taped that week. So I got spoiled that AJ won the title.
Didn't you open like Instagram? Wasn't it on Instagram?
I saw it on Twitter. It was a trend on Twitter. And I was like, well, shit. I wasn't paying attention, So that was so luckily though I didn't get spoiled on much. So I don't know why I say luckily. It wasn't like too big a deal. It's just a throwaway. It's not even throwaway. It's a go home show. Isn't it bad when the state of the show is so bad that the go home show for a pay-per-view seems like a throwaway show? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how they don't treat go home shows the way that they used to, I feel.
Yeah. These shows were supposed to get me excited.
This is and you know what though? Like, I'm gonna bring this up just because it's something that's kind of been bothering me in terms of like wrestling in general. I hate the themed pay-per-views, by the way. Like Money in the Bank I'm cool with because like that's like kind of like a Royal Rumble in a way where it's like oh, this particular match happens every year at this time. So it's like, okay, so Money in the Bank is a thing. But I hate when there's oh, because it's Hell in a Cell, we have to have a Hell in a Cell match. I think that the feud should dictate the match, not the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's I agree pretty much with exactly what you said, especially with Hell in a Cell, because Hell in a Cell is special because it used to be special because it was very
brutal,
hellacious, pardon the pun, and it never happened that much. It only happened when shit was getting real, but now it happens every year. So
you know what we need? We need a 3 stages of hell match.
Yeah, well, they're not going to do that because you need
between Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor. No, I'm just kidding.
Between Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins for the title. We'll get into everything though. I have stuff to say about that.
Okay. All right.
So
let's
start Raw. Let's start Raw. So, oh shit! I've also, I need to open up my Twitter to get me on track. But the show was they hyped up on the show MITB with Roman Reigns. So, they hyped up on Twitter, on social media, because God forbid they actually do stuff a week in advance, to hype up the shows, with matches and whatnot. But anyways, they hyped up on Twitter. Roman was going to be on MITB. He would be invoking the wild card rule, which when I read the words invoking the wild card rule, I just got annoyed. You know what I mean? I don't even know why.
Makes me think of that rematch clause.
Yeah, he will be invoking or when people say stupidly evoking, So anyways, also before that, I forgot to mention that they will be going back to Saudi Arabia. It is called Super Showdown, like the Australia show.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the show starts with MITB and with Roman Reigns. They're both sitting in there, and when Roman's music hit and came out, I did hear some boos. Honestly, I would say he probably got more cheers than boos, but he did get some boos, and I just thought, how stupid! A dude who survived cancer is the biggest baby face on the entire planet, and he's still getting booed. It's not his fault. How? You know what I mean?
It's just because they still have done nothing creative with him. They had the crowd eating out of the palm of their hands when he came back and he announced that he was in remission, y'all. And he was so white hot. Trenton, he had me, and I am a very big Roman skeptic. I think he's a great wrestler, but I just don't see I don't think he's super special. I don't think he's the guy, but he had me with goosebumps, tearing up while I was watching Raw, and that hadn't happened in a long time for me.
Yeah,
I felt that, and they just squandered it because they don't have anything for him. They just brought him back without a plan.
You know what this is like? Can you imagine if Zach Gowen was a heel? How do you fuck up a one-legged dude? He's an easy babyface underdog. But this is kind of what this feels like if Zach Gowen were to be fucked up and booed. That's the only thing I can compare it to. And that didn't even happen, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, this is what this is kind of like, How do you mess up a guy like Roman? First of all, before he even got cancer, he shouldn't have even been messed up in the first place. How hard is it to book a badass, long-haired, good-looking Samoan dude who has great in-ring ability, I don't know. He's not great on the mic, but come on, a lot of people aren't great on the mic, to be honest, But either way, he came out on in this London crowd. He got some boos. And people were not having him just coming out and invoking the wild card rule. Which, and by the way, it's 4 people, not 3. It is not. Well, it can be whatever number they wanted it to be, I guess, as we see, on this terrible show.
Now the question I have is how does one invoke the wild card rule? is there a certain amount of, like, obviously there's 4 people who can do it, but like, is it first come, first serve, or is it like you have to request Vince McMahon and he has to approve it, or like what's the kayfabe under like this? Like, obviously, like, I know the shoot, because obviously it's whoever they want to be on it, but like,
Right.
it's kind of like what's the kayfabe between open challenges? Like, is it who gets there first? Is it,
Yeah, well, as far as I know, the kayfabe reasoning, and that this is what WWE.com posted. Like, they made some post on the website like last week, and I guess the rules are you have to get like permission to be on the show. Some like it. The wording they used on that article though was like so funny because it was just so like it just felt so out of place. Like, if you do not get permission or proper clearance and you just show up, it could be punishable by fining, suspending, or even termination of your contract. And I'm like, well, okay, well, that's fine, but Roman Reigns literally showed up 2 weeks in a row on Raw when they didn't want him to be there. And here we are, like, Roman just came out and he's not wanted on Raw by Shane McMahon. So are they going to fire him? Are they going to suspend him? No, of course not. So I guess you need clearance, but at the same time, they're already contradicting themselves in that, right?
Well, wouldn't it was like, then think about it this way though, because Shane McMahon's on SmackDown. Why would he ever let a baby or the Miz, the man he is feuding with, go to Raw if he's the one who has the final say?
Well, Shane doesn't count in this whole wild card because he's like he's an authority. He runs both shows. So
I thought Shane was the general manager of SmackDown.
No, they don't have general managers. It's just all the McMahons that run the shows. They don't have GMs.
Well, then why would Shane ever let me, like, if Shane's in some sort of position of power, why would he ever let the Miz have one of the wild card spots? Because he knows what the Miz is going to do with it. He's going to come in and he's going to beat him up. Like,
well, Miz is also on Raw.
Well, still, why would he let him?
He did show up on SmackDown to beat Shane McMahon's ass too, though, like last week. Yeah.
Like, then I would assume then. Because, okay, so is it the general manager of the show that you're going to who decides, or is it the general manager of the show you're coming from? See, that's the thing.
That's the thing, because there's no clarity. There's no explanation. Dude, you got to understand something. There's no explanation for anything on this show. And I'm not making that up. You think I'm making... You should have heard me rant a couple weeks ago when... I can't remember if it was a week or two ago, but... when they announced who was going to be in the Money in the Bank matches. And I thought, what do you mean announce? Who is doing this? Is it Vince? Is it Triple H? Is it Stephanie? Is it Shane? Is it Alexa? I'm honest to God starting to believe that Alexa is still the head of the women's division. You remember when Baron Corbin was the GM and Baron was like, okay, Alexa, you're gonna take charge of the women's division. You're going to be the GM of the women's division. But like, as far as I know, I thought she was done with that. But then they just came out and said who was in the match. I'm like, who put these people in the match?
All in a moment of bliss.
Yeah. Alexa announced everybody who was in the match, except for the SmackDown side, of course, but that's different. So, as you know, there's no explanation for anything. You don't know what's going on. You just kind of have to put things together yourself, and even then, you just can't because you'd start developing a twitch, So, anyways... We'll still get into that because there's more to be frustrated about. So, Miz and Roman are talking about their shit going on, how they're both feuding with Shane because we need Shane McMahon in 2019 to feud with 2 different people,
I mean, he's the best in the world after all.
Yes, he is the best in the world. So, they show a recap last week of how Miz was, quote-unquote, destroying Shane with a steel chair when he was trying to escape. And Miz cut a fiery promo on Shane that I've heard a billion times about how he talks about he's going to kill him in steel cage this Sunday at Money in the Bank. And he said, when I bring a fight, I bring a fight. And I'm like, okay, haven't I heard this like 3 times now? This feud is never ending, dude. I'm gonna see. Is Miz and Shane gonna go until SummerSlam?
Oh God, I hope not.
I hope not, dude. So Shane comes out and by the way, I'm totally skimming through this Miz TV segment because it was legit just like so much of the same BS that they've said on these promos and segments. So Shane comes out and he said that Shane says, you both have seemed to have forgotten that I am your boss. And being the boss, I'm also out here to inform you that as of right now, Miz TV is over. And then who attacks both Roman and Miz in the ring from behind? And then Elias, who was on SmackDown. So keep track, okay? There's 4 wildcard spots for each show, right? So Roman's one of them, and Elias is another, right? So that's 2 out of the 4. So Elias and Lashley come out of nowhere and attack both of them. And I thought, poor Lashley still has to, be like shackled by these non-entertaining, boring tag team matches. He's just thrown together with somebody, He just in fact, this show started like the same exact way from last week. Last week it was AJ and Seth versus Corbin and Lashley. So now it's Roman and Miz versus Lashley and Elias in a tag team match to open the show, which, I mean, do they forget that they have a tag team division? Like, what do you think about tag team matches that aren't from, like, the tag team division? Like, singles wrestlers being put together for a tag against the heels or whatever,
I mean, I don't mind it because, I mean, like, in certain situations it's okay, but, like, it's so predictable sometimes that it's just like
it's also so overdone,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So Shane is like, Shane is like, you two are gonna be in a tag team match against Lashley and Elias, and
I was like, oh no, not Lashley and Elias.
I thought, how the hell is Roman Reigns and The Miz ever going to... And Miz has been booked like John Cena for the past month, which is infuriating to me. And I'm serious about that. The fact that Miz is booked like John Cena, come on. I can't buy that. I can suspend my disbelief for a lot of things. But anyways, they have a pretty standard match. There was one cool spot that Elias did. He walked on the ropes like he was going to go old school, but then he jumped off the ropes and then did a Meteora instead of doing the, the arm hit like old school, So
yeah.
Can you imagine if Undertaker did that? He started to go old school, but then he hit a Meteora. That'd be funny. So
maybe he'll do that at Super Showdown.
Yeah, he's facing Goldberg. Oh my gosh, dude, that match is gonna fucking suck.
Honestly, I think we should review that match.
Dude, if you want to watch that match, if anybody's watching this and you're excited to see that match, that's totally fine. But I gotta say, I don't think that's going to be very good. But you know what? To each their own, right? So, also, did you say we should review that match?
Yeah.
We should review the D-Generation X versus
Brothers of Destruction.
I legit heard that was a terrible match. I didn't watch that show, and I'm not going to watch the Saudi Arabia show coming out, but I read that match was awful. And I did see a gif of how Shawn Michaels almost died in that match.
Yikes.
Yeah, because he did a moonsault off the top, and Kane and Undertaker failed to catch him. And he just hit the ground really hard, like face first.
Dude, one of them is going to die in the ring, and it's probably going to be Shawn.
Or Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement, still trying to kill himself to entertain us, So, anyways, this the theme was Shane was on the outside of the ring, and he was just helping the heels the whole time and attacking people with the ref's back is turned. But in the middle of this match, it's going like any normal tag team match, So it's like, this match is too long in my opinion, because I didn't want to see this match in the first place, but this match is too long. And then out of nowhere, Shane, with the ref looking at it, just attacks Roman. So it's a DQ. So I'm like, why the hell did we even do that? Why didn't you just like attack them all? Why even make the match? Why don't you just triple team them? What's the point? So everything devolves into chaos. They're all brawling outside the ring. Roman eventually makes his way back into the ring with everyone else outside, and he does his huge dive, over the top rope.
Yeah.
That he does, and that looked awesome. That was great. That's always great. But my one complaint about that, though, is that Shane pretty much no-sold it.
Isn't that kind of way, like, Shane no-sells everything?
I know. I was just going to say, because last week he no-sold fucking chair shots. And when he was trying to escape from the Miz, and he like stood tall on the Miz when Miz had a chair. So I'm sick of Shane McMahon being treated as if he's like a threat. I'm sorry. And do you agree with me on that? I can't do it. How is Shane a threat?
He shouldn't be a threat in his own right. He should be a threat through his power. Like he shouldn't be like in terms of like D&D, he should be like the noble guy who sets all the guards on you. Like he shouldn't be the big guy who fucking fucks with you. Like he should be the guy who sends all the big muscly men to fuck with you.
Yeah, I'm a little tired of the commentary team trying to act like Shane McMahon is a good wrestler, a good fighter, when his punches are terrible, by the way. And then he tries to incorporate like MMA holds and shit, I'm like, dude, come on. He had a good match with AJ Styles at Mania a couple years ago, but I can't. I'm over it now.
AJ Styles can drag anybody to a good match. He can probably drag me to a good match.
He dragged Jinder to a good match.
Shut up.
Not even Nakamura could do that. So yeah, he does this big dive. That got a pretty good pop. That was cool. So, they eventually Shane again. They're just all brawling again after a big spot like that, which kind of irritated me. That should have been the end of the segment, if you ask me. But Miz equals the odds on everybody with a chair, and everybody flees. So then that's the end of the segment. So. After that, the commentary hypes up the Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre match and the double contract signing for Becky Lynch versus Charlotte and Becky Lynch versus Lacey, because she's doing double duty, as you know, at Money in the Bank, defending both her titles. And they go backstage, and before they cut to commercial, it shows Seth talking to the new interviewer girl, Sarah Schreiber, I think is how you say her name.
Mm-hmm.
And before they go to commercial, you can hear Seth go, "Dude, I broke the internet today." It's just kind of like, because I guess he kind of did, because they officially WWE and Seth Rollins himself gave away that him and Becky Lynch are dating now. So I mean, everybody knew that anyways, but
weren't they spotted at a concert cuddling?
Yeah, they were spotted at a concert. Becky was giving him a big old hug, holding on to him, and not like a hug though, but you could tell, it was one of those, you know what I'm talking about. She had her arms wrapped around him in a romantic style way, So
I wonder if she's seen the pictures.
Oh, the Seth Rollins dick pic.
She's probably actually seen his dick, so
I mean, everybody's seen his dick. Dude,
hey,
when that scandal happened, you could not get away from it,
I mean, that's like pro Jared, but we won't talk about that. This isn't a pro Jared podcast.
Okay. So it comes back, and they show also with these tape shows, this is something to point out, they did a lot of video packages and shit. For Raw and SmackDown. A lot of packages and recapping. I'm like, damn, this is kind of boring, not gonna lie. So they showed a video package for Seth and AJ, and they actually showed footage of when they the only match they ever had together from the Indies in 2006 or something, 2005, when AJ was still had short hair and Seth Rollins was still Tyler Black, which was kind of a cool little, that was kind of a cool little thing to see. So after that, Braun is backstage being interviewed, and he's being interviewed talking about how do you regret throwing Sami Zayn in that dumpster last week or something like that, and Braun is like, the only thing I regret, I can't do my Braun Strowman impression. The only thing I regret is that Sammy didn't get turned into a cube.
The only thing I regret is that Sami Zayn didn't get turned into a cube.
Yeah. The only thing I regret is that Beastie Boy didn't get turned into a cube.
That Sami Zayn didn't get turned into a Beastie Boy.
I missed that. So Braun is talking about the ladder match, and he says there's no one that can stop him from winning the Money in the Bank a second year in a row. And some crew member, some random dude, is like, he comes out of nowhere and he's like, Mr. Strowman, Shane McMahon would like to see you in his office. And Braun goes, Shane wants to see me in my office, huh? In his office, huh? And I thought he was going to say like more after that, but then he just walked away. I thought he was going to say some clever whatever. He's like, he wants to see me in his office, huh? And then he just walks away, and I was like, oh, that was kind of odd.
Beastie Shane wants to see me in his beastie office.
Yeah. So it comes back from commercial, and Zayn is in Shane's office talking to Shane and talking about how Braun could have ended his career last week, and he blames the fans for cheering Braun on when he's acting like a monster. So Strowman comes in and he asks why he was called into the principal's office, and Sammy's like, Shane is going to make this all right, and I want your spot in Money in the Bank, Braun. And Shane says, no shit says, I can't just give you the spot. I'm like, why? You gave everyone else a spot.
Who actually earned their spot?
Who actually was put in this match? No one. Besides Sammy, as we'll talk about later tonight. But literally nobody was in a match to qualify.
Yeah. Sami Zayn, what a heel. He's the only one who earned his way in.
Yeah, no shit. So he goes, I can't just give you the spot, even though I could have, for all I know, Shane could have just given everyone else the spot, you know? So that was stupid. Nobody works on continuity on this godforsaken show. So so Sammy says, I'll fight you for it, Braun. And you know what? You should make it a false count anywhere match. Maybe I'll put you in a dumpster. So I actually kind of like how Zayn, talking about no continuity, they actually revealed a little bit of continuity on this show with this segment, because Zayn had that dude with Braun a couple years ago.
I was just about to bring that up, where Mick Foley would not let him wrestle Braun.
Yeah, it's because he didn't want him to die or something.
Yeah.
And Sammy was like, I could last 10 minutes in there or something like that, you know? So at least Sammy's like not a chicken shit heel right now. At least he's actually standing up somewhat. I mean, he's the heel, but he's still showing that he can go at it with Braun. So Shane is like, okay, you got the match. If Sami Zayn versus Braun in a false count anywhere match, if Sammy wins, you get Braun's spot in Money in the Bank. So at this point, I was hoping Sammy would win because I wasn't interested in seeing Braun in that match anyways. So I was fine with this. And I love a good false count. They've been doing a lot of false count anywhere matches lately, you know? But I love a good false count anywhere match. There's a lot of potential, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they do that. And, dude, you're going to love this next match. So up next, Mojo Rawley with his new character he's finally in a match on TV with his new character. And I don't know what his new character is, to be quite honest with you. He comes out and he's got this weird face paint, you know, where it's supposed to resemble like a mirror shattering, you know? It's like this weird blue face paint looking like the cracks in glass. And he's like kind of crazy, you know? He's kind of crazy a little bit. I can't even explain it. So, you know who the jobber was in this match to put over Mojo Rawley? Let me re-say that, okay? Do you know what jobber was putting over
Apollo Crews?
Rawley?
Apollo Crews,
who, by the way, is on Smackdown, so that's the third wild card spot, right? So
I didn't even know he was on SmackDown.
He's on SmackDown. He got shaken up on the Superstar Shakeup. He's on SmackDown, so he was the third wild card, and I just can't get over the fact that Mojo is not the jobber in a squash match.
Wait, and then think about it this way. They couldn't use someone like Tyler Breeze or...
Well, I wouldn't want it to be Tyler Breeze anyways. And by the way, Tyler Breeze is in SmackDown again. Or Smackdown, fuck me. He's in NXT again. Yeah.
Well, and or someone like... There's multiple people they could have used other than Apollo Crews.
Yeah, they could have got a local competitor. Do they not have jobbers? What was the point of taking somebody from SmackDown to job out to a dude who's a jobber? Do they not have any jobbers on Raw? Why did you have to take first of all, why did you have to take a wild card spot just for a squash match? You know what I mean? And second of all, do they not have jobbers on Raw anymore? I guess now that Kurt Hawkins is a champion, well, they job him out anyways. I can't even say that. They jobbed Kurt Hawkins out as a champion anyways. So, yeah, Mojo Rawley squashed Apollo Crews, which already got me irritated because, I love Apollo. Apollo's great. So, you know what? I don't want to be that guy who's like, they're going to do nothing with Mojo and everything. But, I mean...
They're going to do nothing with Mojo.
Let's be realistic. Are they really going to do anything with Mojo? I don't dislike Mojo, but I'm just saying. Are they really going to do anything with Mojo?
No.
So whatever. He won with the Alabama Slam, so there's that for historical purposes. So it cuts backstage to Alexa Bliss, she's on her cell phone on a call, and she's talking to I guess she's talking to some airline that she was on, and she was complaining that she lost all of her luggage, and she said, I'm an American celebrity. And that means that finding my luggage is your priority. She doesn't have her gear, you see. She said she does not have her gear because her luggage was missing. Mm-hmm. And, of course, this was just a kayfabe reasoning for not having her wrestle because she's actually injured, but we'll get to that. So, she hangs up mad. I wish you could flip. That's the one problem with touchscreen phones, that you can't flip a phone angrily to hang up anymore, So you just have to kind of furiously tap, which is kind of takes away the charm of it. But anyways, she hangs up her phone, and the camera pans over to Nikki Cross, who makes her first appearance since I think just being called up in general. Nikki Cross says that she's been here for 4 weeks, but I don't think that's true. I think she she had one match a couple months ago with Bailey and Natalia against the Riot Squad, and I think that was the only thing she did. I don't even remember.
She was also in the women's battle royal.
Yeah, she was in the women's battle royal, I think, and that was pretty much it. So,
and she was one of the first people eliminated.
As far as I know, this was her first appearance. I don't care. So, clean slate, right? So, she's talking to Alexa, and Nikki's not crazy, by the way. Very important. Nikki is not crazy. She's calm. She's very reserved at the moment. She's sincere. She asks Alexa if she's okay, and Alexa thanks her for paying attention to her troubles, and Alexa's like, I could really use someone to talk to, and Nikki goes, I've been here for 4 weeks and nobody's noticed. And Alexa is just talking shit about whatever, and she's an American celebrity, and I'm so mad. And Nikki says, Alexa's about to leave, and Nikki stops her from leaving, and Nikki's like, no, you can talk to me. And Alexa starts venting, and she says she doesn't. Alexa Bliss, of all people, says she does not want people laughing at her when she wrestles in her non-gear. She doesn't have her gear, so because she's in a fatal 4-way match in the night later this night, right? Mm-hmm. It's just the fatal 4-way with the Raw participants in the women's Money in the Bank, and she says she doesn't want to go out and wrestle and get laughed at. And I'm like, do you even watch the show? Corbin wrestles in non-gear every single week. You're not going to get laughed at. You might get told, where the hell is your gear, you loser? But you won't get laughed at, you know? So...
I mean, let's be honest. We're all laughing at Corbin, though.
Yeah, we're all laughing at Corbin. That's true. We call him a bartender, TGI Fridays waiter. So Alexa's like, I can't wrestle tonight, and Nikki says, you gotta tell the McMahons then, look for a replacement. And Alexa gives Nikki the match, actually. She's like, you want to take my spot? And so Nikki and Alexa are kind of like friending up here now. And Alexa's like, all right, I'll go tell the McMahons that you're taking my spot because I can't wrestle because I have no gear. Can you imagine? We've had, how many times over the years people were still had to wrestle when like they got gear stolen? Yeah. Remember when Paige had her gear stolen by someone, and she's like, I have a match, I gotta find gear. What? And she was given that like lame ass like pink fairy suit or whatever,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like, try and be humiliated, but then she just owned it. So like, I'm supposed to believe that Alexa can't wrestle because she doesn't have gear. Whatever. So the Ants are just cool with this, I guess, because they ended up giving Nikki the match. So finally glad to see Nikki and doing something, right? So up next is the contract signing. You love contract signings.
I hate them.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to mute myself for just a second.
Okay. So, double contract signing time. Lacey Evans comes out, Charlotte comes out, and then Becky comes out. So, Michael Cole's the one, I guess, moderating this. So, Becky comes out, she's about to sign, and Cole goes, do you realize how grueling this will be, defending both titles on Sunday? And the crowd's chanting Becky 2 belts loudly. This chant, I don't know. By the way, it was also edited. It was taped, so I don't know how like edited the crowd was during this. You could tell sometimes it was pretty damn edited, but you can never tell fully how edited it is. But Becky says it's great to be back in London. Becky says about Lacey and Charlotte, they're both bigger, stronger, and more athletic than me. So it's not that I don't know what beating I'm going to take. It's that I don't care. Because she's a fighting champion. She knows she's going to take a beating. So I thought Lacey sounded good during this. I always thought Lacey was good on the mic, and Lacey's talking before that, Becky says Lacey's going to feel the crippling pressure of backing up everything she said, and she's going to wonder why she ever came looking for the man in the first place. And then she says, just ask your twin sister here how hard it is to beat me. And which is funny because, people have made the comparisons between Charlotte and Lacey before, because Lacey's getting a push right off the bat. And of course, people have their qualms about Charlotte being overpushed, as do I. So,
now, what I'll say about that is that, like, I think that Lacey Evans is an amazing character. Now, I've yet to see her translated to the ring because I didn't watch NXT, but I'm eager to see what she looks like on Sunday.
I think she's solid in the ring, to be honest. I know a lot of people that watch Raw and SmackDown don't watch NXT, but from what I've seen of her in NXT when she was wrestling in NXT, I actually enjoyed it. I've been a big Lacey Evans fan though for a while now, so I really feel bad that she got a whole lot of hate, coming up, and just because she's blonde, of course she's overpushed. Did you see that article that I can't remember who did it, but somebody did like a study on how what percentage of blondes and brunettes and women of color and white chicks were like pushed and how many times they won the title.
Yeah.
And blonde white women were like below the others in terms of how many times they've won the title,
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like put to bed the myth that blonde women are pushed more than others, so to speak. it was a really interesting read. They like went through all the statistics and numbers of and like all the women's champions in the past in WWE. So it's a really interesting read. I'll have to link you that sometime. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I do like Lacey, and I think she's actually pretty good on the mic. She has a really good presence to her. So Lacey says, it's nice to see that I'm not the only one with enough decency to show up to a formal event dressed appropriately. I guess we're supposed to believe that Charlotte was dressed more appropriate than Becky. I didn't see how Becky looked out of place. I mean, she was wearing a tank top, but, who cares? How formal is a contract signing, to be honest? But anyways, whatever, they go along these lines. It's kind of a, they had some good lines, but other than that, it was your basic contract signing. How many times have we seen contract signings? They did one a couple weeks ago with AJ and Seth, and even though the ending of that,
I honestly, contract signings I don't get. I mean, it's just like I don't feel like it's like necessary.
Yeah. So Charlotte though is going. Charlotte is trying to tell Lacey to like start attacking Becky. She tries to egg her on, and Lacey's like, I don't want to dirty up my dress or whatever. And which I don't know why that amused me, but the way she said that amused me. But Becky was she was like, Charlotte was trying to egg on Lacey to fight Becky, and Lacey was like, I don't want to dirty up my nice dress or something like that. I don't know why it amused me though. But Becky was like, fuck you both, I'll just start fighting. And then she just started brawling 2-on-1, and she started to do good brawling. And actually, looking back though at the footage, it looked like Lacey was the first one to start to approach Becky. So but eventually, of course, they double team her, they double powerbomb her through the table. So both of them stand tall. They both pick up their respective titles that they're facing off for. And by the way, I didn't mention. Somebody brought up on Reddit that Charlotte signed the wrong contract, so which forced Lacey to sign the wrong contract. So for all we know, Lacey could actually be facing off for the SmackDown title, and Charlotte for the Raw. So. Yeah, it's kind of like when Kofi looked at that. Remember Kofi's contract last month or whatever, and it said that the title match at WrestleMania was on like, March 19th or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like incorrect. So
we thought that was going to be like a story point.
It was going to be the swerve, right? You should have read the contract better, So, yeah, they. I thought that was a cool visual though when they both held up their respective titles they're both facing off for, with Becky like all broken and beaten down. So I don't know if this means they both stood tall on the go home show. I know we'll give our predictions later on the card and stuff, but I don't know if this means, because really any one of them could, win. People are saying Charlotte's going to win, but Lacey's going to lose and vice versa. So it's interesting to think about. So after that is Baron Corbin versus Ricochet. And it's just an exhibition match. It doesn't mean anything. So I thought when they advertised this, I thought, great. We have one of the greatest high flyers of the last generation, and he's going to be grounded the whole time in a boring ass 10-minute chin lock match. And to my surprise, this match was actually decent. Like this was the best Corbin match I've watched in a long time. And I never thought Corbin was a bad wrestler, but I just didn't like how most of his matches were exactly the same. Like, he can do so much more than chin locks, but it's just that classic WWE heel formula, the rest holds throughout the entire match. And so, yeah, this match was... I thought this match is going pretty fast for a Corbin match, right? Ricochet did his cool moonsault off the second turnbuckle onto the outside, and he did some cool maneuvering. He hit the Corbin hit like a wild lariat on him. By the way, are you muted?
Yes, I was. Sorry, I was eating something.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell. Anyways, they had a lot of cool offense. Of course, with Ricochet flying around, Baron hit his cool and deep six, and with like Ricochet's arms flailing when it was going on, which kind of looked funny. But
no, you know what? You know, people give him shit, but Baron Corbin hits pretty good deep six.
I know my one gripe about Corbin usually was that people always only point out, oh well, at least he can do a good deep six, and like as if that's it's like, why do you like Corbin? And they're like, well, you know, his theme is good, and his two finishers are good. And I'm like, okay, that's it. Like that's all that I ever hear people talk about how good he is. You know, that's the only thing I hear good about him. But I thought this match was actually decent. The finish I loved. The finish was great. Ricochet went for a satellite DDT, and Corbin countered it, caught him like in the middle of flipping around his body, and hit the end of days. I wish you could see a gif of this. It looked awesome. I love this finish. And Corbin won clean. Now, listen, you know how much I don't dislike Corbin, but you know how much I hate seeing him overexposed, like on every show. And whenever I see him, I just groan at this point. And I know what you're thinking. Trenton, you're just gonna shit that Corbin pinned Ricochet clean. And in this case, I'm really not upset. I'm not that mad. I'm not even mad about it at all in this case because, for one, the match was actually good, in my opinion. I actually enjoyed the match. So that helps, right? And second of all, I'm still aware that Corbin just can't lose every match. You know what I mean? As much as a lot of people would want him to. But Corbin just can't lose every match. He has to win some matches. I know he won that match against Seth and AJ in that Forced to Coexist tag team match. But that was different because that was because AJ screwed over Seth with phenomenal forearming him and Corbin getting the upper hand because of it. So in this case, I'm totally cool with Corbin winning. And not even to mention, after the match, Corbin pulled out a ladder from under the ring. He started to climb the ladder to try and get the briefcase, which is dumb, by the way, because have they ever watched wrestling, WWE? When you take the title or Money in the Bank off the hook on the go-home show, that means you're not going to win it, you know?
Exactly.
So at least it's a pretty damn good indicator. So he started to climb, but right as he's about to touch the briefcase, Ricochet gets back up and he pushes the ladder over. Corbin gets all caught in the ropes and hurt, and then he leaves. So Ricochet still stood tall, despite losing. So I'm cool with this. I had no problem with this. It was actually a fun match, and it was funny though because I was on Twitter during this. Of course, like I always am, I live tweet the shows and stuff. Yeah. But I thought in my head I was thinking, damn, this is a pretty fast match, right? Because I wasn't expecting it to be that fast. And somebody, right as I thought that, somebody tweeted, damn. I was watching this match feels pretty damn slow, but it was because they were watching the Best of the Super Juniors tournament in New Japan, which is like, of course, real fast paced and shit. Yeah. So this one person thought it was slow. I was real thinking it was fast and shit. Maybe I need to watch some real fast matches and it'll feel really slow. So yeah, I'm fine with that. So backstage, Rey Mysterio is being he's being interviewed by Charlie, and he says that Joe crossed the line last week by targeting my son, and if anyone else has something to say, they can say it to my face. And Cesaro comes out of nowhere and says that I can say whatever I have to say to you. Can say whatever you want to say to Joe's face, and then he says Dominic looks more like Samoa Joe than you do. And then he goes, Are you sure that he's even your kid? So
that had to be intentional.
That was funny though, you know. And people pointing out, it's like, well, they kind of did have a battle about that in 2005, you know, with the custody battle between Eddie and Ray. So Ray docks Cesaro. They start brawling in the locker room because he said this, and the referees. Good thing the referees were just there, I guess, because the referees come in and break up the brawl. And after that, we find out later in the night that it is Cesaro versus Rey Mysterio in a singles, which I was pumped for. But they show after that though they show the same video package they showed last week of Roman Reigns and his battle against leukemia and coming back, you know, and the Shield's like farewell and all that stuff. And
you ready for John Moxley, by the way?
Yeah, some people keep saying that. I don't know if they're serious. I don't know if it was the fake Slice account, you know.
Yeah,
it was the parody of Slice Wrestling, which is the most like bogus reporting account, you know, on the whole social media. So somebody made a parody called Sliced to like distinguish the two. And he kept reporting that John Moxley will debut on Raw, but like every time he doesn't, he's like, plans changed. Which is of course the funny, like, you know, the meme within, like, you know, like Melker says sometimes plans change. So so after this though, it was the Fatal 4-Way match. It was with the women, the Raw women for Money in the Bank. So it was Naomi versus Natalya versus Nikki Cross versus Dana Brooke. And
oh, that's right, Naomi's on Raw now.
Yeah. By the way, I'm glossing over an AJ Styles interview, but it was kind of generic. It was kind of, you know, just, I'm gonna come for you for that title this Sunday. It was your basic borderline generic, you know, challenger going after the title promo. So they go to commercial, and Nikki Cross makes her entrance, and I thought, so Nikki Cross isn't like crazy anymore, I guess, because on Twitter like a week ago, or maybe a couple days ago, just before Raw, Nikki Cross was interviewed backstage after main event because she fought off against Peyton Royce in a singles match on main event, and Peyton Royce won. So Nikki Cross was interviewed backstage after that match, and she was like, maybe I need to change up something. Maybe I need to go through a massive change. I don't know what I'm doing and all that stuff. So, like, kind of reflecting, you know, so maybe she's not going to be crazy anymore. But then she came out during her entrance, and she still kind of gave off that crazy vibe with her entrance. You know, she's throwing her jacket around, getting all cut up in the ropes. She's looking all, she does that crazy smile she does, you know.
See, the thing is that, like, I don't understand, like, why. I mean, like, that's what kind of sets her apart from the rest of the women's division, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, obviously Nikki, like, is a good in-ring performer, right? Mm-hmm. But my thought is, obviously, from what we've seen, you kind of need to have a good character to, like, you know, get you over with Vince and everybody in the back, because, like, as we've seen and as it's shown every single damn week and every year and whatever, just being an awesome wrestler is not good enough anymore, apparently, you know?
Exactly.
Times, you kind of need to have something that sets you apart. So I'm really interested, like, what they're doing with this quote-unquote new Nikki, where she's not as crazy anymore, but she's still kind of a little bit of the mannerisms of her being crazy. So
Nikki wants to play.
Yeah, exactly. She's not saying that anymore on social media. Her tweets and Instagram posts are like pretty normal, because normally she would caption them with, you know, Nikki wants to play, he, with all the crazy talk, you know. So
yeah.
So Nikki came out, and then Alexa joined everybody on commentary. And dude, be thankful that you don't watch the show just for the fact that you don't have to listen to the commentary. Dude, I don't get it. Is there, like, I know Vince is in their ears and everything, but, like, is Vince telling them to be annoying? I honestly don't get it. I wanted to blow my brains out listening to this, you know? Like, I don't get it. Why is the commentary so bad? Corey Graves is not a bad commentator, okay? Michael Cole, despite what everybody says, you can say what you want about Cole. Cole is not a bad commentator. Like, he's not great, but he's not bad. Like, if you listen to Cole in the Mae Young Classic, he's actually in that United Kingdom Championship tournament from 2016. He's not terrible, you know. But like on this show, and Renee Young obviously is new, so you can, you know, pretty self-explanatory there. She's not too good, but I don't get it. Of course, Alexa's music hit, and Corey had an orgasm, and Corey's like, get the chair ready, and blah blah blah, because Alexa's coming over, and they're hooting and hollering, and damn, can I just watch some wrestling? Gone are the days of JR trying to contain Lawler, you know, and I don't know. So they had this match, and when this match was first announced last week, I was like not too interested in it, and I don't know why though, but this match was actually pretty fun. I thought it was. There were some fun spots during this, and of course Dana Brooke finally getting like a good showing, you know, because from what I read on Twitter, or that one article that I sent you that, right? That podcast that Wade Keller was on, where a dude called in that apparently was like a close what's the word I'm looking for? He was like a friend of a dude that worked on the writing team, you know?
Yeah.
He like listed off a bunch of shit that's like going down on the creative side and writing side and within management and shit. And it was like a lot of shit to unpack. Like, but one of the things that was in that report was that Dana Brooke is like one of the hardest working people on the entire roster, and she's always training, always at the performance center, always doing stuff, blah blah blah. So, you know, you can say what you want about Dana, but honest to God, I never really got why she got so much hate. You know,
I really like her.
I don't see her wrestle too often. That's just because I don't watch main event. She's never on Raw, you know. But from what I've seen of her, I don't think she's terrible. I don't think she's too bad. You know, I really don't. You can say what you want about her being in this match, but at least they're finally giving someone new a chance in something. You know, I can applaud that. Yeah, totally cool with that. I had more of a problem with Alexa, Natty, and Naomi being in the Money in the Bank match more than anything else. You know, or Carmella, yeah. It's just so yeah. I thought Dana being in the match was fine. I thought Dana had a good showing. I thought all of them had a good showing. They had some fun spots, and the big spot though, the real big spot was that they set up a ladder outside the ring, and this was funny. Like Natalya was like setting up this ladder, and Nikki Cross like sprints under the ladder to spear Natalya. So I guess she's not afraid of superstitions. So
yeah, right.
So then all of the women besides Dana are brawling right next to this ladder outside the ring, and Dana climbs the ladder and does a huge splash off of it, like a diving crossbody off the top of the ladder. And the ref was holding it, of course, because then it would have fallen. But she did this big splash onto all of the women, which looked pretty awesome. That got a pretty good pop too. So that was the big spot. And get back in the ring, and Nikki Cross pins Natalya with her swinging net breaker. It was actually a draping swinging neck breaker from the ropes, and Nikki Cross won. She pinned Natalya, and I was like, damn, I can't believe she actually won. So after that, Alexa gets off commentary. She goes down to the ring. She's like, oh, actually, I think maybe in the middle of the match she might have been rooting on Nikki anyways, but like after the match, they get the ladder in the ring, and Alexa starts to climb it, and then she unhooks the briefcase, and Nikki's like, yeah, she's clapping on, you know, for Alexa. She's like, yeah, you go or whatever, because I guess they're friends now. And so Alexa unhooked the briefcase, which meant, you know, she's not going to win it, but as we know, she's not in it anymore. But we'll get to that. So, I was expecting this to be like, if Alexa was going to be in the match, if she was going to stay in the match and not be taken out, I was expecting like, is there like going to be a swerve or something with her and Nikki? Like I felt like maybe Nikki was acting like she wasn't crazy just to get on Alexa's good side.
Yeah.
And she would like try and swerve, and I don't know, something. But so yeah, that was fine. That was a fun match. I had no problems with that match at all. That was fun. So, and that was a match I wasn't looking forward to in the first place. So good job. Fun, finally. So they go up next, it's Rey Mysterio versus Cesaro, and this also was a really good match too. This was really good. Of course, a match with Cesaro and Rey Mysterio is going to be awesome, you know. So I don't know how though, but like Mysterio is what, 45, 44, and he is still like, if you were to watch him without knowing his age and never having watched wrestling before, you know, and you watched him, you would have thought like maybe he's like in his at most like, you know, mid-30s, right? Still kind of in his prime, you know, but he is so like fluid and crisp and clean with everything, spinning head scissors like real crisp and everything, and it helps that you're in the ring with Cesaro, of course, but man. So they So they were doing this one spot though where Ray was in the ropes, and you know how Cesaro hits the Swiss 1-9.
Yeah.
So he had Ray in the ropes, like set up for the 619. So Cesaro was just staring, like, should I do it? And the crowd was going crazy that he's going to go for the Swiss 1-9 on Ray. So he goes for it, but then he gets caught up in the ropes. He kind of gets crotched in the ropes, so that it was just a tease, Ray avoids it, and eventually Ray hit the 619, and he did the frog splash and pinned Cesaro. So there were I didn't go through everything obviously in that match, but that was a fun match, and if you want to watch a match from that, I think that would be the one I would point out for you to watch on YouTube. So
what about Corbin Ricochet?
Yeah, you could watch that. That was cool. That was fine. So after that, it's the Revival backstage, and as we know, I don't know if you've seen how much you've seen of this, but they've been trying to humiliate the Revival for the past 2 weeks.
I mean, as they do.
Right. So Revival are like just the gist of what they say. Revival go, there will be no more embarrassing us at all. No more embarrassments. So I'm like, Vince McMahon's like, hold my beer.
I was going to say, incoming embarrassment in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, exactly. So, up next, the one thing we all wait for every week, the newest edition of Firefly Funhouse.
Oh, hell yeah.
And boy, let me tell you, it was definitely the darkest Firefly Funhouse. So,
strap in.
Bray Wyatt is in the Firefly Funhouse. And Bray Wyatt, nobody is anywhere to be seen, and Bray Wyatt goes, I'm over here, and it pans over to the left, and he's like, no, I'm over here, and then it pans over to the right, and eventually they find him in the right corner where everybody is hanging out, and Rambling Rabbit is not dead.
I know, that was kind of weird.
He had a Band-Aid over his eye, and he was like all stitched up and taped up, and I thought, damn, he's not dead. How about that? So,
and thank God. Yeah, I was worried about that little rabbit.
So, Bray Wyatt goes.
Did you mention my theory about it on the show last week? At all?
That
Bray. Well, I mean, the reason Mercy was eating Rambling Rabbit is because Bray quote unquote killed him.
Yeah, I think I might have mentioned that. I can't remember though. So Bray goes, I have a secret. And Abby tells him, wow, it better be a good secret. And Mercy the Buzzer says, I have stuff to do. I don't care. And Bray goes, it's almost time to show the world what I've really been working on, and I'm going to need all of your help. And he goes, there's a lot of darkness in my noggin, but now it's different. I've learned to control it. And he asks, do you all want to see my secret? And the kids like cheer, the kids cheer, and he turns around, and the screen starts to get all like distorted, and it's all serious, and like red like weird filters and shit, and Firefly effects, by the way. And he starts transforming, and everything is like, also there's like things being spoken in tongues in the background. And as he finally flashes back into the room, he's wearing this black leather jacket with like a black wife beater, a black tank top, and he's wearing like these striped red and black pants. It kind of looks like the clothes you wear in Red Dead Redemption 2 online. We've been playing that. So he it's got like, yeah, it's I can't even describe what kind of pants he's wearing. I had a good analogy, but the best part is that he's wearing a very, very dark looking clown mask that has like a big old smile and like sharp teeth sticking out, and the face is all scrunched up. He's giving a big frown smile, and he goes very seriously, "Yowie wowie." and then it cuts away, and that's the end. And when it cut back to the crowd was given a standing ovation, cheering loudly. And I bet you that wasn't edited with a taped crowd. So
Honestly, I'm really, really impressed with Firefly Funhouse.
The production and everything.
Oh my god, it's amazing, and you know what? This is what I'm because I haven't gotten to like talk about Firefly Funhouse because I
Right.
haven't been. But this is what I'm going to say: Firefly Funhouse is it's proof that WWE creative has creative ability. It's proof that they have it. It's just will Vince McMahon let them fully flesh it out? Because I'm a little bit worried because I feel like they're going to rush this because it could Vince could get bored with it. Vince could think it's stupid. At any given moment, Vince can just destroy this.
Right. See, the thing is that caller I talked about on Wade Keller's podcast, who gave a bunch of information on what it's like backstage,
Yep.
being creative and writing, and how Triple H. One of the things was that Triple H is apparently very like disappointed and not happy with how things are going, specifically with like Vince McMahon. And I guess, for all I know, it could be true. Dave Meltzer was even like, and I'm not saying believe everything Dave Meltzer says blindly, because I'm not that fan. There are some fans who are just like, well, Meltzer said it, so it's true, right? But no. But for all the shit Meltzer gets, he is somewhat reliable. He doesn't get everything wrong. So he was like, all that stuff about Triple H being unhappy is true and everything. And so you know what? I can believe it. I have no reason not to believe it. And also, one of the things in that report was that the creative and writing team are always have great ideas, and they're always smart and very in touch with the fan base. But it's just that Vince McMahon changes everything and dicks with everything and tells him, to screw off sometimes. And it's all Vince McMahon. And when I read that, I thought, you know what? I give the creative and writing team a lot of shit all the time because it's easy to when you see something stupid. But
yeah,
it's kind of stupid of me to think that all those time, for the last 2 years, because of course it's Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? They have 40 writers on that show. How am I supposed to believe that all of them are just terrible and they put out terrible garbage? It was kind of stupid to believe that. So,
no, I wouldn't say it's stupid. I mean, it's also very difficult when you have so many writers because some of them might not agree, and continuity is kind of a hard thing, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, but the buck stops with Vince.
Yeah.
You honestly, for most of the problems, it's probably down to Vince. He in that guy's words, I can't remember his name. I think his name was Scott something. In his words, or maybe it was Kyle. I don't know. Anyways, in his words, they're writing for an audience of one, and that audience is Vince McMahon. And now, after reading that whole thing, I don't know how true it is, but after reading that, honestly, I think of things in a new perspective now with this creative and stuff, because just I have more sympathy for them now. I'll have to think about things now, because obviously, as we see with Firefly Funhouse, obviously Bray Wyatt is the huge creative mastermind behind this. But even still, he didn't do it alone and everything. So, yeah, the Firefly Funhouse by far the best thing they got going right now.
And remember when right after WrestleMania, when the Mercy the Buzzard first popped out, everybody shit on that so hard.
Dude, I wouldn't say everybody shit on it, but everybody was just kind of like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And they were like, wow, Bray Wyatt's thing is going to be cool now, because everybody just kind of associated it with Bray Wyatt, right? Because who else would they associate it with?
Yeah.
But then when the whole thing started, we were blown away. It was like, what the hell? So obviously, yeah, I'm pleased that Firefly Funhouse is taken off, and it's looking cool. And yeah, I'm excited to see if he wears the mask during matches. I assume not. It'd be kind of cool if he wore clown face paint, not like a Doink the Clown ripoff, but he has a clown mask on. So I'm interested to see. Or if he,
what if he's torn in the ring, like he'll come out as Firefly Funhouse Bray
with a
and then what's that?
with the sweater vest on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like as the match goes on, like he starts to slowly evolve, you know?
Yeah. What if it's like a Finn Balor demon type thing, where
Yeah, right.
he summons the demon sometimes, but not all the time. So it's like it keeps it fresh and the mystique of it, you know.
Now, see the thing that like that makes me think about it is that like I wanted to see something like where he's trying to fight it as Bray, but then like but the way that they're kind of going with it, it seems like he's kind of like the mastermind, you know?
He can control it now, right? He's learned to harness it and control it. So, yeah. So that was I like how they put the Firefly Funhouse part near the end of the show, just so people would sit through all the other stuff.
Yeah, right.
So that they could, you know.
How long until Firefly Funhouse is the main event?
Shoot, remember when Final Deletion was the main event?
Yeah.
And they didn't even show it at the arena when it was happening, which kind of angered a lot of people because they hyped up the fucking Final Deletion for that whole night. The fans didn't even get to see it on the screen. They just got a dark match. So, anyways, I'd say probably like he should probably be main event all the time, just so people sit through the whole show the whole time, you know. So there's no drop off on the third hour. So after that, we get Seth Rollins interview, and actually this is where they showed that video package with AJ and Seth in their one match they had. So man, they look so young, dude. It was insane. So it's main event now for Raw. It's Braun Strowman versus Sami Zayn, Falls Count Anywhere, Money in the Bank qualifying match. This was the only Money in the Bank qualifying match they had. So,
and it was to take somebody else's spot.
Yeah, so they go brawling up and down in the crowd. They go backstage into the concession area where all the fans are and stuff. And they're in the O2 Arena, so this looked pretty clean in a way, right? It looked cool seeing them brawl backstage, and out of nowhere they start brawling, and Sammy's like just getting destroyed by Braun, and they start brawling, and Baron Corbin comes out of nowhere, and he starts to beat up on Braun Strowman with like this big trash can, and he starts like destroying him like just over and over with this trash. And I'm like, damn, he better be careful. He doesn't actually kill him, like hit him in the head, you know? He was just wailing away. And so then he goes over to the concession stand, the table with all the merch on it. He picks up Braun Strowman and slams him through the table. And Sammy goes over to cover him. And Braun kicks out at 1. I'm like, you just got destroyed by a trash can and then put through a table 2-on-1 assault and you kicked out at 1. I don't care if you're a monster. That's kind of stupid. You know what I mean? That's just me though. That's my opinion. So they go eventually Braun gets up. He starts to take on Zayn and Corbin 2-on-1, and then he destroys Corbin. He puts him he throws him into that little metal holder of like all the shirts, you know, and it like comes crashing down on him. So Corbin's out for the rest of this. So they go back through the crowd, and they go backstage into like some just, I guess, area where they have equipment and shit. And then as Sammy's getting destroyed, Drew McIntyre comes out of nowhere and starts to he DDT'd Braun onto a chair. And Braun kicks out again, of course, because you know he got DDT'd onto a chair, and then he got put through a table, then DDT'd onto a chair, and it's still not enough. So he kicks out, and then Drew McIntyre gets destroyed again, and eventually it's just Braun and Sammy again, and then they like go through Gorilla, and I would have thought it would have been cool for them to like finish the match in Gorilla, you know.
They should have just finished the match with Vince.
Yeah, exactly. Vince would help. Vince would be the last heel to help. So no, they didn't even show it. They just showed them going in Gorilla. They didn't show them in it, but then they go back through the entrance, you know, on the front of the stage where all the ladders were. So of course all the ladders are there because it's Money in the Bank and soon. So Braun is about to come down on Sammy. Well, that's not the right word. starts to converge on Sammy, and Risey's about to go destroy him. Corbin and McIntyre make the save again, and they suplex Strowman through a ladder, and it was a double suplex, and Sammy gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. That was enough to destroy Braun Strowman's hopes and dreams of winning Money in the Bank 2 years in a row. Sami Zayn is now in the match in place of Braun Strowman, and I'm cool with that because I did not want Strowman in that match. I'm kind of indifferent about Strowman in general at the moment. So
yeah, we should start getting going because we're not even done Raw yet, and it's been a long time.
Well, that was the last thing.
Oh, okay.
But then after that, Sammy got chokeslammed by Braun. So Corbin and McIntyre just dipped, I guess, and then Strowman took Sammy over to the announce table and chokeslammed him. And I shit you not. That was the show, by the way. That was the end of the show. But during that, after he got chokeslammed, the commentary was like, "How is Sammy gonna make it to Money in the Bank now?" And I'm like, "Do you watch your own show?" I honestly I'm starting to believe that they don't even attempt continuity anymore because Sami Zayn was thrown in a garbage truck, in a dumpster, and then into a garbage truck. And the next night was on SmackDown, totally fine, in the title match. So
yeah, right.
I'm supposed to believe that he got chokeslammed through a table and he's not going to be fine enough for Money in the Bank. Okay, fine, whatever. So that's Raw. And did we miss any people from SmackDown coming over to Raw again? Because I don't even think did they even have a fourth person on they had Roman, Elias, Apollo Crews, and I think that's it, right? So I don't think they even I don't even think they had 4 people from SmackDown on, did they? So they didn't break the rule there, but as we see on SmackDown, they break their own rule. You're gonna love this. So up next, to start the show on SmackDown, it's Roman Reigns. Got to have Roman and Miz start the show again. So Roman says, "I've got unfinished business from Raw last night, and I'm not waiting for Money in the Bank." So he called out Elias, and he says, "I'm gonna introduce one of the solutions to this problem you and I have, The Miz." So The Miz is on SmackDown again, the wild card rule in full effect, and he's the first one. We are going to keep track of all of them this time, though, because they break their rule horribly. Only 4 people are allowed. So Miz plugs a steel cage match, and Shane and Elias come out, and it's pretty much the same as Raw, And Shane says, just because you invited Miz does not make him a wild card. And in fact, because Miz disgusts me, I'm going to invoke my privilege and ban the Miz from the building tonight. So we're supposed to believe that Miz is not a wild card now because Shane said so. So does that make him how did he get in the building if he wasn't allowed though? Don't they have security? So whatever. So Shane and Elias bring out Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, and they're gonna 4-on-2 them, right? They surround the ring. They go down there. They surround the ring. They start to destroy them 4-on-2, and then the Usos music hit. So that's now 3 people that are wild cards. And I'm considering Miz a wild card because I don't see why he shouldn't be. You know what I mean? I don't see why he shouldn't count just because they didn't want Roman on Raw, and they still counted him as a wild card, right? So that's 3. So that's 3 now. The Usos are on SmackDown, and they save the day, and they do the double suicide dive, and they're all brawling and shit, and that's the end of that segment. And eventually it's a fucking 4-man or 8-man tag team match for not the main event. What was the main event? I can't remember. But anyways, so after that, they hype up Kevin Owens' show in Firefly Funhouse. Of course, Firefly Funhouse is no difference. So wouldn't that be awesome if they had like 2 different Firefly Funhouses? Like
yeah, right. Why would they waste time playing Firefly Funhouse again?
Filler. They got time to fill.
Yeah,
So,
right.
after that, Randy Orton comes out. They go to a commercial break and they bring everybody out. Andrade Almas comes out and then both Finn and Ali come out. So this is a fatal 4-way match. It's another one of those fatal 4-way Money in the Bank participants matches. So, and this, I thought I was excited for this. I can't believe people complained about this match though. People are like, "Wow, how creative!" I'm like, "Yeah, some good wrestling. How creative, you know?" So it's Mustafa versus Randy Orton versus Ali. Oh wait, I already said that. Mustafa versus Orton versus Andrade versus whatever the fucking last guy is, Finn Balor. So I thought this match was fun. They, although though, I gotta say though, dude, like they started the match during commercial, and there was like some fun. I was watching in the tiny screen, although I hate doing that.
Yeah.
So, Randy Orton did that back suplex on the tampered with announce table, so you know it really hurts because he didn't even clear it off.
Yeah.
He back suplexed legit all 3 of them, like in a row, just one by one, to the adoration of the fans. And I was like, damn, I wish we could see that bigger. Why would you start the match in the middle of the commercial, you know? So I had some fun spots.
Fucking WWE.
Yeah, so they had some really fun spots. They brought out a ladder. They used it for offense because, of course, there's no DQ. And Ali tried to go for a 450 on Finn, but then Finn dodged, but then he landed on his feet and did that roll that they do, you know, when they go for a flying maneuver. But then he rolled right into an RKO, which was a cool spot. He just rolled right into it, and now that's what you call an RKO out of nowhere. So after that, eventually Andrade got Finn into the ring, and he hit the hammerlock DDT and won. So Andrade won, and then he took the ladder, tried to climb it to get the fucking, you know, the Money in the Bank briefcase. And I was thinking, all right, he's not going to win if he unhooks this, right? So then, as he's about to unhook it, Ricochet's music hits. He sprints down to the ring. He does a springboard dive onto the ladder, like so fluid, like just so, you know, fluid and fast that it's just seamless. So, and then Ricochet battles Andrade off the ladder and unhooks the briefcase. So Ricochet's not going to win. And then he just yeets off with the briefcase and leaves with the briefcase. So for all we know, that's the only briefcase they have. He could just take it, you know? So so that's the 4th wild card, by the way. It's Ricochet, the Usos, and the Miz. So that's 4. And people are saying that tag teams only count as 1, you know? But okay, if that's the rule, fine. If that's the rule, great. They haven't said that though. You know? They've not said once that tag teams only count as 1, so I'm counting them as 2 because they're still 2 different individual superstars, you know? So up next it's Charlotte. They show a video package. They show a video package with Becky and Charlotte's journey together, and it was actually pretty it was just going through their whole journey through NXT when they were best friends and talking about how Charlotte hates her now and all that stuff. And I mean, that kind of was filler too, but whatever. Got time to fill, I guess. So after that, they break the wild card rule yet again. Lacey Evans is on the screen cutting a promo backstage. So that's 5 people now from Raw on SmackDown when you can only have 4. 5, bro. Ugh, 5. Just why? Do they not even try anymore, dude?
The wild card rule exists for Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns only. I hope you know this.
I know, but like, can they at least try? So it was Miz. The Usos, and Ricochet, and now Lacey. And I think there was 6 actually. I think they actually had 6 people from Raw, but we'll get to that. So up next is that 8-man tag. It's about as basic an 8-man tag as you could possibly get. Who could possibly care? I'm so overseeing Shane on my screen taking up time from people that don't ever get chances. For as much as Shane ever said this was the land of opportunity, he sure was in a lot of storylines and feuds and matches. What is it, 51, 52?
Can't argue with that.
For the match starts, though, they show a cool, spooky Alistair promo, and I'm really liking his promos too. They're really ominous and spooky. So I'm not going to go through the whole promo because it's kind of taken a while. So, oh yeah, and this is where I started to get triggered, by the way, on this show. They also did my favorite spot. Can you guess what my favorite spot ever is in wrestling?
I know you've complained about this multiple times, but I can't remember what it is.
It's my favorite spot ever during this match. It is when the babyface goes up to hit a top rope move, and the heel moves out of the way or whatever, and the babyface sticks the landing perfectly, but they still tweak their leg.
Oh.
And they have to sell their leg.
So who the king of that is?
Well, in this case,
Seth fucking Rollins.
Yeah, in this case, it was Jimmy Uso, I think, it was one of the Usos. I'm looking at a GIF of it, but I can't really I'm one of those guys. I can't tell who's who. So he stuck the landing perfectly and tweaked his leg. Man, I hate that. So, anyways, it got worse, though. This match got worse because Shane McMahon, the finish of this match was Shane McMahon actually pinned Jey Uso clean with a coast-to-coast. Shane McMahon pinned an Uso for no reason. So, yeah.
New era.
And Miz wasn't even in the match, by the way. This was a 4-on-3 handicap match. I was actually wrong. I tried to block this out of my mind so much that I actually got the match wrong. Miz was banned, remember? So it was 4-on-3 handicap match with the Usos and the Roman coalition. What do you even call them? The Bloodline? Is that what people call them? So
the fucking family or something like that.
Fighting with my family too. So
fighting with my family too. The Brad Maddox years.
Jeez, too far. Far. So, Shane McMahon in 2019.
Why is this championship belt sticky?
I'm just going to ignore that. Why is Shane McMahon pinning the Usos clean? So after that, they start to lay the Smackdown on them. And Miz makes the save out of nowhere with a steel chair. He hits Elias with his chair. He runs off Shane. So, really, they do have the worst security in the entire world. Can we confirm that?
Well, because
he was banned from the building.
If you say someone's going to be banned from ringside, you can guarantee they're going to be there. So
yeah. So, and it gets worse though as we see later in the night. They show Firefly Funhouse again. Up next is Kairi Sane and Asuka versus Sonya and Mandy, and they come out and they go to break, and then they come back, and the Iconic Duo are on commentary, and somehow we're not even as annoying as Graves is on commentary. Oh my gosh! And you don't even get me started on Graves and Saxton on SmackDown commentary. It was worse than Raw. And that's saying something. Dude, it was abysmal. This might be the most I was annoyed by commentary in a long time. Oh, and poor Tom Phillips has to carry them, Who would have thought that in a company that has Corey Graves as a commentator, Tom Phillips would be the best commentator out of the main roster? I can't even believe that. But it's true, So anyways, Iconic Duos join them for commentary, and Paige gets on the mic with Kairi and Asuka in the ring, and she announced their new tag team name, the Kabuki Warriors. So, first of all, what do you think about that name?
I mean, I don't think it's awful, but it's eh.
I have to say this though about it because people. First of all, let's get this out of the way. It's not racist. Okay.
No, it's not.
People were saying this was a racist name. They're just ignorant. This is not a racist name at all. And second of all, it does make sense because like Asuka's like thing is that she's kind of like a kabuki chick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she dances around funnily. She wears very bright and she's set apart with her clothing from the rest of the people, and so she is kind of like so my only gripe with it though is that it just sounds like generic, like the Warriors aspect, you know what I mean? Like,
You mean like Viking experience?
kind of, yeah, like the Viking experience, and then they were a rigid. I don't know. It just Paige took to Twitter to say that Kairi and Asuka chose the name, but then she was like, "Well, they wanted to be called the Kabuki Girls, but then then the management changed it to Warriors." And I don't know. I honestly like the thought of Kabuki Girls more than Warriors because at least Girls sounds like it genuine. Warriors just sounds forced. It just sounds generic to me. I just think it sounds lame. But you know what? It makes sense. It's not racist, and whatever. I'll get used to it. Who cares? So, Sonya and Mandy come out for this match, and surprisingly, Corey did not go crazy that Mandy came out. Right? Probably because the Iconic Duo were like yammering on about stuff loudly, so Corey couldn't even get a word in. Can we have Iconic Duo on commentary all the time? So this match was pretty basic. They had although if you ever watch Kairi and Asuka, their teamwork together is like great, and they only started together as a team like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and their teamwork together.
I mean, obviously she's a great singles wrestler, but do you think Kairi Sane might have a knack for being a tag team wrestler?
Oh yeah, sure. Her and Io Shirai.
She was great with Io Shirai. So
as a tag team, yeah, they and Asuka and Kairi also have great tag team chemistry. They're just like they just go well together, and so yeah, they had this match and had I have to say though, I think they're setting up for a Sonya and Mandy like breakup.
Mm-hmm.
Because the finish of this match was like Sonya was in the ring and like Sonya's about to like seemingly finish off the match and stuff, right? And Mandy tags in. They do that whole shtick, right? They get cocky and they tag in and they screw themselves over because of it. So Mandy tags herself in and gets crucifix pinned by Asuka. So Mandy took the pin a week before she's in the match on Money in the Bank. Why? I don't know. So I don't know. I just don't.
Funnily enough, she's the only person in that match.
Yeah,
that was in that match.
Yeah, exactly. What? I don't know. I mean, if you ask me, Sonya should be in this match instead of Mandy anyways. But if you're gonna pin somebody in this match, obviously you can't beat Asuka and Kairi already, right? In a throwaway tag match, right? So, at least that's just my opinion. But so it seems so really the only person you can pin in this is Sonya because you don't want to make Mandy look like shit and an idiot a week before she's in a big match, right?
Yeah.
So Mandy got pinned, and they're both like, I can't believe this. And they're both like have their heads in their faces, or their heads in their hands and whatever. So are they? I think they might, just with this finish alone, it just felt like they were going to set up for like a swerve at Money in the Bank. Maybe Sonya interferes. Mandy's about to win, and Sonya interferes. Or something. I don't know. That's just what I gleaned from this. It just looked like it a little bit. So, after that, Kayla Braxton's backstage, and she shows she's set to interview Lars Sullivan, and they cut to like a video package of all the destruction and carnage he's wrought, you know.
You mean the destruction and carnage that he's caused the WWE? Oh,
Destruction and carnage he's caused his bank account.
yeah.
So, and we'll get to that after the segment. So it's like a video. It's pretty basic monster video package. All the shit he's done and taking out No Way Jose and all that shit. And Kayla starts to interview him, or tries to. Then she's like, "Just Lars, do you want to? Thank you for your time." And she's scared and she like runs off. So that's the end of that. And Lars didn't say a single word. The crowd booed him. Probably because of all the shit that went down, and the segment ended. So it's now a good point. It's now a good point to mention what happened with Lars, because as we know, as I said on the show last week, and as we all know, Lars Sullivan said some very racist shit, and not just racist shit. He said a bunch of other bad, horrible shit on forums and stuff from back in the day, in the past, right? And here's the thing. I said last week on the show that I'm not a fan of the trend of looking up like old tweets and old comments and shit, right?
Yeah.
Especially because with a lot of cases, with most cases, it's just dumb jokes. Like I brought up last week Cedric Alexander's tweet he made from like a long time ago where he said, "It's not rape if you yell surprise," right? And like people dug it up and he had to apologize about it. And which, by the way, who hasn't said that when they were like a dumb 7th grader in like a gymnasium playing basketball or something? You know what I mean? Who hasn't said that as a dumb joke? Like people just get so offended over everything. But anyways, the point being, this case is very different though with Lars, right? Because normally when you read past comments and try to act as if they're such horrible people for saying these horrible quote unquote comments, right? Normally it's just kind of like, it's just the outrage police going crazy. But with this case, with Lars saying his stuff, this was not the case. This shit was deeply ingrained in like deep, long messages. Like, it's one thing to have like an off comment, like a racially charged joke that's just like a dumb off comment trying to be an edgelord, But it's another thing to have long-winded like comments about like
diatribes about eugenics, basically.
Shit like that. Yeah, exactly. So I was under the impression that Lars probably did think of a lot of this shit and was not just some edgelord on some forum being stupid, right? So this case is hard though, because like, well, not to get too deep, but anyways, the point being that WWE could not just be like, we're not going to do anything, because that's what I thought they were going to do. Just try to, act like nothing happens and hope it goes away, So eventually a sponsor got involved. Mars Wrigley got involved, and they were like, this is unacceptable. He cannot say this, blah, blah, blah. So WWE fined Lars Sullivan $100,000, $100,000, right? And, people were saying this was just a PR move, right? Just to see, they're just saying that. We don't know if that's legit or not, right? So Titus O'Neil though went on Twitter, and Titus. We all know Titus, how he's like a huge, he's a big not spokesperson, that's not the right word, but he's one of the main black figures that stands up for, people of color and issues surrounding that and all that stuff, So Titus O'Neil took to Twitter and said, at Lars Sullivan, I applaud you for seeking out myself and others on the WWE roster to not only sincerely apologize, but also seek guidance as to how to move forward in being a better human being than you were 9 years ago. Nobody is perfect, including me. I think that's what he meant to say. Thank you, Vince McMahon, for taking action. So I don't think Titus would lie about something like this,
Yeah, I think like there are people who just like will say, "Oh, Titus, you're just saying this because they paid you." I honestly believe that like I believe Titus O'Neil because like we know that he's a good person,
Yeah. He's not like the kind of guy that would lie about something like this, especially since it's such a serious topic. So, hey, man, I said last week on the show, I'm totally open for seeing if Lars Sullivan is a different person. It was a long time ago. Well, some of his latest comments were before he got signed, like 2013. So that's just what, 6 years ago at this point. Yeah. So that's not a too long a time. I mean, that's kind of a while, but I just now realized that fucking 2013 was 6 years ago. I'm getting old, dude. But anyways, point being, I'm open to seeing if Lars changed. I hope that he's sincere. They fine him $100K, and he will go to sensitivity training. What's his punishment? And that's my thoughts on that. I hope that everything's okay. Hope he's still not a racist, And it's our main event time now, though. It is a talking segment, your favorite main event. It is the Kevin Owens show. So everything's set up in the ring. Kofi comes out first. It's Kevin's show, but he comes out first, and he's just leaning back, kicking back in his chair, and he's like, "Where's Kevin, huh? Where you at, huh?" And here I am as a guest, and it'd only be fitting if I came out here to be the host. So here's an introduction, and Kevin Owens is not coming out, and then he comes up on the screen, and he's like, I'm not gonna come out here. I'm not gonna go out there on the show. You're gonna lose your title this Sunday. Blah blah blah. Big E isn't there. Xavier isn't there. Oh, by the way, dude, did you see that Big E totally trolled people saying that he wasn't gonna be back until 2020 or 2021?
Yeah. And
fucking what's his name? The dude that was blowing Kofi shit. Superstar Billy Graham, that's who it was, right? And he wrote this Billy Graham on Facebook typed out this long paragraph about how Big E was a liar, only he spelled it wrong. He said layer, so people mean him. And Alistair was like, I didn't know you were a layer, Big E. And he said some dumb shit. I can't even remember what he said. It was so dumb. And Big E replied to it, and he was with a reaction face or whatever. But yeah, he got people worked up that he wasn't going to show up until 2021. But you could tell he's trolling, So
yeah, I mean, especially because it's Big E.
It's Big E, exactly. So, yeah, at this point, they showed another video package of Kevin and Kofi and their story and blah blah blah, and I'm like, damn, I can't believe if I bought a ticket to this show, I'd be pissed, So, Kofi calls out Kevin, and Kevin's like, all right, you know what? I'll come down there, and he leaves the screen. And then he shows up. He comes through the entranceway. Kofi's in the ring, getting ready to throw down. And who comes from behind Kofi in the ring and to attack Kofi but Sami Zayn on Raw? So that's 6 people. 6 people from Raw on SmackDown when only 4 are allowed. Are you effing kidding me? So Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens double team Kofi. And so yeah, just Xavier can't make it apparently, but then he comes out, and Xavier, of course, who's suffering a storyline injury. He's storyline, beaten up and stuff, and eventually they beat down Xavier. But then it's pretty predictable. Kofi eventually 2-on-1s them, and Troubles in Paradise is Sammy while Kevin storms off and, just is the coward, the heel as he is, right? So that's that. Kofi stands tall, and that's the show. That's SmackDown. And this week, I can't believe I'm saying it, Raw was miles better than SmackDown.
The first time ever.
No, that's not the first time ever, but it's one of the few times. And just the constant video packages and the questionable the wild card rule being so stupid, and that's SmackDown. So are you excited? Did me talking about these shows and everything make you more excited to watch Money in the Bank?
Not really.
You don't say, huh? And yeah, that's the show. Do we have any other news though? Obviously the big news is that AEW is going to be on TNT, And are you? I was gonna ask if you're gonna watch it, but I guess you can't. You know?
Yeah, I can, unfortunately. Yeah, I'll ask. You know what? For like the first episode, I'll ask if I could use like Emily's mom's Spectrum
Yeah.
login or something like that to watch it like on my phone or something. But
I did see that it might be on Bleacher Report Live, since Bleacher Report and TNT do shit together. They're partnered together. So I did see though that the first the Double or Nothing show that they're doing this month, and just like what is it, the 20 something? I can't even remember. But people were wondering how much that's going to cost, because over in England, over in the UK, it's like £15, so it's a good deal. But over here, it will be streaming live on Bleacher Report Live, their streaming service, for $50 for a pay-per-view.
the fuck?
And I'm like, no, and that turned a lot of people away, and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to pay $50. Like, a lot of people still will, but they're like, no, I'm not paying.
Like if it was 10, I might think about it, but
I'd probably watch it for like 20, but not 50, you know? But like, people, I don't know. I'll probably try to find some fucking illegal stream, like online, you know, like a free live stream that I always do.
way to incriminate us. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't do that for a lot of shows. I did it with All In. I did it with Wrestle Kingdom this year. That's it. But I also don't have a Bleacher Report Live like account or anything, you know. So I don't know. I will watch AEW on TNT though. I will, because I could always use some more wrestling shows in my life. I wanted to start watching Impact. I just never got around to it. I have no way of watching New Japan. I don't have a New Japan World subscription. I don't even know how much that is a month, but that's the big.
Should we just really quickly go through the card on Money in the Bank and just give our predictions?
Yeah. I'll I have to pull that up first. Should have had that up. But while I'm bringing that up, Alexa Bliss, as we know, is not in the match anymore, the women's Money in the Bank, because she apparently is still injured with concussion issues. And actually, there's some conflicting information on that, by the way, on what her injury is, because PW Insider said that it's a concussion, but Dave Meltzer said it was unknown what her injury was. So there's conflicting reports. He said that her injury was not a big deal, and that they're only taking her out of the match as a precaution, right? Because she's in a ladder match, right? So they don't want her getting re-injured. So there's conflicting information on that. I hope Meltzer is right. I hope it's nothing serious, right? But she hasn't been wrestling in a long time, so I don't know what's going to happen. So that's that click off of this ad. The card is it's kind of a sizable card. Also, I don't know. Did they even add a tag team title match to this show for the women? Because on this card that I'm reading, it says Women's Tag Team Championship, Iconic Duo versus Asuka and Kairi Sane. But is that even like confirmed?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it happened either. But anyways, we'll go through the card, though. If they were to have a tag team title match between the Kabuki Warriors and the Iconic Duo, who wins that tag team title match?
Well, it's got to be the Kabuki Warriors, right?
It's got to be. You know, Iconic Duo don't even wrestle anymore, it seems like. And even when they do, they just lose. They're the tag team champions that job out and are comedy acts, right? So, I don't know what's happening there. Also, did you realize that there were no Raw tag team titles champions on Raw? There were no tag team champions at all. There was also no Viking Experience. It's the Viking Raiders. I still gotta get used to that. I call them both the War Raiders and the Viking Raiders. Sue me. So, on the kickoff show, though, it's Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari for the Cruiserweight title. I haven't been keeping up with 205 Live a whole lot lately, so I doubt they're going to put it on Arya Daivari, to be quite honest. I think Nese is retaining.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Daivari... I don't mind Daivari. Daivari is actually good, but I just don't think they're going to put it on him. So, and this I forgot to mention during the SmackDown review. This also irritated me a lot, which is what turned me off of the show.
Mm-hmm.
The SmackDown tag team titles will be defended on the kickoff show. So first off, first issue is that Daniel Bryan is on the kickoff show, right?
Yeah.
And second off, Daniel Bryan and Rowan are defending against the Usos.
a Raw tag team.
A Raw tag team going at it against the SmackDown tag team champions. What? Why? Also, when you realize that they didn't do anything to earn this match. They got pinned by Shane McMahon. And then the same night were given a tag team title match. They literally lost and were gifted a tag team title match. Can you think of anything somebody has done like less to earn a match? Well, I guess probably Charlotte. Charlotte was literally gifted matches. So,
no, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder.
Well, at least they challenged the Revival, and Revival were like, we'll think about it, and they accepted. Mm-hmm. Usos lost and were just given the match. I don't even think I saw them challenge Daniel and Rowan. I didn't see that on SmackDown. I guess they could have done it off screen, but that's whatever. That's cheap, you know. I know that's what Hawkins and Ryder did, but this still rubs me the wrong way, you know. A Raw tag team, whatever. So who's winning that? Are the Usos going to win the SmackDown tag team titles?
No way.
Yeah, it's on the kickoff show. Daniel Bryan and Rowan, they're going to win. I'm a little sick of seeing the Usos in the tag team title picture over and over again, you know, just nonstop. So up next, though, is the U.S. title match, Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. I don't know who's going to win this. I thought Rey was going to win the title at WrestleMania, but then Joe won in 40 seconds, so I was really wrong.
I actually think that Joe's going to retain again.
Think so? You don't think Dominic is going to assist Rey?
You know what? What if this is a Dominic heel turn?
That would be quite the.
What if WWE has signed Dominic and they're going to debut him against his father?
Dude, so it'd be like David Flair versus Ric Flair?
Right?
Wow. I can't even. That'd be something. I think Joe's going to retain. Maybe I'll get it wrong. Maybe every time I predict someone winning the U.S. title match, it's the opposite, like last time. So I think Joe's also going to retain. But I guess there is the possibility that Dominic could not interfere, but assist somewhat, which I guess would be interfering. But anyways, The Miz versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. I honestly don't know. Could go anyway.
I think The Miz is gonna.
I think The Miz too. We thought Miz was going to win at Mania, but then Shane won. Yeah, I think The Miz is going to win, and hopefully that'll be the end of this feud. You know, Roman Reigns versus Elias. Elias is not winning. It's going to be Roman easily. So after that, the men's Money in the Bank, or the women's, Money in the Bank ladder match. Nikki Cross, who replaced Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Natalya, Dana Brooke, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella.
I'm thinking Ember Moon wins this.
I think this is a tough one because people were saying apparently the big favorite. I don't know how people determine favorites. I don't know if it's the bookmakers, and why the hell would you trust the bookmakers for a scripted show? You know what I mean? Like, odds on a wrestling show is like having odds for who's going to get killed off next, like on the next episode of Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
They do have that, though. That's
so dumb, though. Why would you try and lose? Why would you potentially lose money on that? You know what I mean? It's scripted. It seems so dangerous. So I think this is a tough one. Apparently, Mandy Rose is the big favorite. I don't know why. I don't see what she's done to be the big favorite, but be blonde? No, I'm just kidding. I think they're gonna swerve us and have Bayley win it. I have a gut feeling that Bayley's gonna win it. I don't know, especially since Bayley came over to SmackDown, she's actually been booked pretty decently. I'd say she actually has some balls. You know, she actually stands up to people and she's strong again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she hasn't won too many matches, but she's looked really good in those matches, and she's had. And like the match she had against Charlotte was really good. The match she had against Becky was really good. She won like some tag matches, but either way, I think Bayley's gonna win. Maybe. Do you think they swerve us and have them cash in on Becky or Lacey or Charlotte, whoever?
No,
No,
no, no. They did. I think both Money in the Bank winners are leaving with their briefcases. I don't think anyone
cashes in the night of.
Yeah.
I hope not, because you hate that too, don't you?
I really do.
I don't like it either. It's kind of a waste. Like when Alexa did it last year, I was annoyed.
I was really annoyed too.
Yeah. After that, though, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Finn Balor, Ali, Andrade, Sami Zayn, and Randy Orton. Which, by the way, that match is looking stacked. That match is looking real good for Money in the Bank, dude.
Yep, I think McIntyre's winning, and I even made a very bold bet about it. So
a nut bet.
A nut bet, yes.
It's been a while since we've had a nut bet. I think it's Andrade or McIntyre. I think they both really enjoy them. The company, I mean, I think they're both really into them. Well, maybe McIntyre less so because they kind of fucked him off, creatively, sticking him with the Three Stooges all the time. Three-man bland, D-Generation. I think I'm leaning towards Andrade though. I think Fox is gonna want a strongly booked Latino character on their show, and Andrade's great anyways. Andrade's real good. I think he'd make a good Money in the Bank holder. I think it kind of fits in a little bit with his character, right? I think the visual of Zelina carrying around the briefcase all the time, right? Kind of like Heyman carried around the title for Lesnar. So I think I'm going with Andrade. The SmackDown Women's Title match: Becky versus Charlotte. I fucking don't know, dude. Honestly, I don't know. Do you have Becky winning both of these title matches?
I do.
Oh yeah, you do?
Yeah, I think she's gonna at least win both of these, and I can see her dropping one of them like on a SmackDown or a Raw.
Yeah, but how much longer is she gonna have the two belts? I guess they did start Becky two belts and like released a merch of Becky two belts, but they've released merch before where it was very short lived, like the Y2AJ show or shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just can't get over the fact that Charlotte's in this match, and that's why I think Charlotte might win, because it's Charlotte. Charlotte shoehorned into another title match. I don't know. I don't see Becky holding on to both titles for too long. I guess she could. I guess she did. I guess Charlotte and Lacey stood tall on the Go Home show, which generally speaking, means that they don't win at the pay-per-view, right? You know what? I think Becky will retain both. I'll say Becky will retain both. I'll be bold, right? After that, the WWE title match: Kofi versus Kevin Owens. I think Kofi's going to retain. I don't think Kevin's going to win. It'd be kind of stupid for Kevin to win since Kofi and Kevin. Yeah, Kofi and Kevin as a storyline has been kind of boring, and
I'm interested to see what they do with Becky Lynch at the Saudi shit. Oh wait, never mind.
Hey, if somebody said that all they have to do is tell the Saudi prince that Becky is the man, and they'll let him come on the show. So yeah. Speaking of other boring storylines that should be on paper really good, Seth Rollins versus AJ for the Universal title. This story was really disappointing, very disappointing. It was very just so bland, Every promo was the same. Like, I'm gonna take your titles. I got Money in the Bank. I'm gonna keep my title. It's like so boring, so generic. And I think Seth Rollins is gonna retain.
Yep, I agree. I think it's too early that he's not going to drop it yet.
Yeah. Well, that's it for the predictions. We also covered everything else too.
All right, awesome.
I think that's about it. And yeah, that's You excited?
Not really. I mean, I'll watch it. I'm excited for the actual Money in the Bank matches.
Yeah. You know what? It's also going up against it's going up against the Game of Thrones series finale. Series finale.
Yeah.
So who
It's gonna do terribly.
probably, but I have been reading that Game of Thrones season 8 has been awful. So maybe did you see that petition though, that Game of Thrones season 8 on like change.org? People
No.
people started a petition that reached like 500,000 votes or signings of like for them to completely scrap this season and start over from scratch and get new writers, and it got like 500,000 signs. So damn, can you imagine if WWE did something like that? So yeah, that's about it. It's a go home show. I don't know if we plan on doing a chill episode like we do sometimes at pay-per-views. I would assume not.
Yeah.
Probably not this time. That's probably just for the big pay-per-views, you know.
Yeah, the WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that just about does it. Thank you for joining me finally. Oh, you'll be joining me on next week's show.
I will, yeah.
Money in the Bank and Raw and SmackDown review. Yeah. Touch wood.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Anything can happen. You could be drafted over to
a different podcast.
To a different podcast, yeah.
That I won't show up to on that one either.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They'll trade me back.
Probably, just because you'd be like you've been pulling a Sasha Banks on me this whole time.
Yeah, right.
Not showing up. You took a sabbatical. So
No, I just took a Lars.
Yeah, exactly.
I shouldn't compare myself to Lars Sullivan.
Yeah, what? Do you have horrible tweets that I need to look at?
Yeah, right.
I need to look through. So yeah, that's it. We'll see you next week. Maybe if it's a long show, it'll probably be like Friday or Saturday. It won't be on a Thursday. I guess it could. You never know. So see you, everyone.
All right. See you guys.